To see it on a big screen with big loud sound with an audience, I mean, that's how this movie's designed to be seen. It's designed to be almost interactive.
Hi, it's so lovely to meet you. So my name's Olivia and I'm with Cineworld, and we are very excited to be bringing Maxxine to the big screen. Firstly, I just have to say a massive thank you to you, because I'm someone who hasn't watched much horror in my life, and this has opened all my horizons. I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favourite films I've seen in the last year, I think. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Something that really stuck with me kind of throughout the movie and when I left the cinema was the quote, "I will not accept a life I do not deserve." What does this phrase mean to you?
Well, I think from originally writing the character of Maxxine in X, it was always someone who wanted their life to be different than it was and wanted a very extreme level of success in order to achieve that. And that's so unlikely. And I think for anyone that's set out to do anything difficult or to try to be famous or to try to be, number one at something, or just to turn their life from one thing into another thing, perseverance and hard work and also luck are such a big part of it. But the ongoing determination of like, I will not fail no matter what. And for a character like this, who is really willing to stop at nothing to do it, I just wanted to kind of give her some sort of mantra that she could come back to that would, keep her motivated and keep her focused through all of the, let's say, obstacles that she was going to come into on these movies. And so, and I think the idea that she was given that as a child from her dad, I think was sort of compelling, and because of her relationship with her dad. And it was just, she's trying to do something nearly impossible that everybody around her would say is not possible. And so she's the only one that she can kind of confide in about that. So she had to come up with a way to stay centered on that.
Maxxine. Your agent tells us you're quite a popular name in adult film and entertainment. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm curious, did you always want to be in that line of work?
I always wanted to be famous.
Mia Goth does an incredible job portraying Maxxine, and is also in every film of the X trilogy. What makes her the perfect person to play these kind of really strong and slightly haunted characters?
Well, when we first met on X, I think, Mia's a very fearless and sort of unpredictable performer, but I think also when we met, the time we met, she was very ready to be the lead of a movie and very ready for a challenge, like a really exhaustive challenge. And I think she had not a chip on her shoulder, but I think she had a desire to be seen as a little bit more than she had previously been seen. And so she was just like ready to go. And that's kind of what the character of Maxxine was. So that's part of why we got along. It's part of why I felt she understood the character, because I think she had a personal connection, like not a literal one, but enough of a spiritual one at the time.
Yeah.
And I think for these 3 movies, I've been working on these movies for nearly 5 years, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and more or less so is she. And that's a big commitment, and that's a big, it's very challenging for someone to do. And she was game for the challenge, and she wanted the challenge, and she embraced it the whole time. And I think that's just a credit to her and how hard she was willing to work.
Oh my gosh, 100%. I mean, she's the perfect person to play these roles. Like, it kind of comes back to that phrase, "I will not accept a life I do not deserve."
100%,
She totally deserved the lead role.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, say, ain't you that dirty movie actress? Well, you look a whole lot taller in person. I guess I only ever seen you lying on your back. John Labette, charmed to make your acquaintance.
What do you want?
Oh. Easy, Tiger. Don't go shooting the messenger now. I'm just the dick. Private detective hired to find you.
By who?
Well, that right there, that's privileged information. My employer would prefer to reveal it himself. He's got a, how do I say this, a flair for the dramatic, so to speak.
To me, this film was made for the big screen, and also to be, surrounded by other people in the cinema. I mean, the cinematography, some of the shots, I felt like I was behind the camera myself. Why do you think audiences should get out of their house and come and see Maxxine on the big screen?
Well, that's what it's designed for. I mean, that's what part of these movies are very craft focused. When I came up with X, a big driving force for me as the director was to make something that was felt like a fresh take on the slasher genre, but to also put like filmmaking craft at the forefront of it. And then we did that again in Pearl in a different way, and we're doing it again in Maxxine in a different way. And that's the thing, is to see it on a big screen with big loud sound with an audience. I mean, that's how this movie's designed to be seen. It's designed to be almost interactive in the sense that it's like visually enticing. It's the sound is very exciting, the music's very exciting, and you know the experience that you'll have with an audience should hopefully be communal and memorable.
Yeah, I mean, I felt completely engrossed in it. And something you mentioned there was the sound, which really stood out to me. When I was watching it, you know, moments from a highlighter squeaking with the events on screen, or like this constant heartbeat that I felt throughout. And I was just wondering how you went about kind of doing the soundscapes and choosing the music for such an incredible film.
Well, a lot of the music was written into the script as far as the songs, and we were lucky to get those. And then the score is written by Tyler Bates, who's super talented, and he did all 3 movies. And to have like sort of a saxophone score was it felt very like partly a throwback, but also felt very fresh because we haven't heard anything like that in a while. And then, you know, the sound design is a huge part of all my movies, and Karen Baker-Landers, who I do it with, is like insanely talented. And to really give the movie a sense of scope in the soundtrack as well as in the image is just a big part of the experience. And I think it builds out the world, and it really puts you, as you say, like in the story.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, because if you feel like you're in the story, then you're on board with the character and wherever she's going.
Yeah, I love that so much. I studied music, so I was the person that stayed to the end of the credits to see who the
Cool.
composers were, musicians were, and I really felt that in this film. So
right on.
thank you so much for that, and thank you for speaking with me today. It's been really wonderful.
Yeah, likewise.
I
Thanks for
can't wait
taking the
to bring
time.
it to the big screen.
Maxxine.
You're a movie star.
In cinemas July 5.